Welcome to Hard for Games. As promised in our Hotel Mario episode, we're going to be touching on the Unholy Triforce.
Unholy.
The Unholy Triforce.
Triforce?
They are the 3 games created by Philips for the Philips CDI system. In this episode, we're going to be rocking Wand of Gamelon. Ta-da! Next episode, we're going to be rocking Link Faces of Evil. Ta-da! And in a future episode somewhere down the line, we're going to be doing Zelda's Adventure.
Ta-da!
That is not the right game. These 2 games are sibling games. They came out on the same day in 1993, I believe. They were created by the same team, same engine, same everything. So they have the same strengths. They have the same flaws.
This is going to be incredible.
It certainly will be something. Now, if you're wondering, why are these Zelda games on a non-Nintendo console? Then I would recommend checking out our Mario CDI episode, because we go into it in great detail and depth. But basically what happened is there were some contractual issues with creating the SNES CD. Nintendo scrapped the project, and as kind of a compensation, Philips was allowed to license certain Nintendo properties. You can already tell like the quality just isn't quite as high. Look at the font. I mean, look at the font compared to like the original Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2.
Just like some font from Microsoft Word.
Yes, well that's what I'm saying. It's just there's just nothing interesting about it.
Father, what if something happens to you?
Oh god.
My force of courage to protect me. You don't hear from me in a month. Send Link.
Impa? Don't worry, Zelda. The Triforce of Wisdom promises the king will safely return.
Oh boy! I'm so hungry, I could eat an Octorok!
I love the hand signals.
I know.
And gestures.
A whole month gone, and still no word.
These
I'm
Still
sure
no
it's
word.
right.
That's rude.
Yeah, that old Ganon's no
God.
match for the king!
Link, go to Gamelon and find my father.
Look at that sweet Conan
Great!
O'Brien.
I can't wait
Yeah.
to bomb some Dodongos!
There it is.
Later,
That's a classic line.
Wake up, Impa. We're going to Gamelon. All right.
They have to do this at 3 in the morning?
The Triforce of Wisdom.
Impa, wake up.
No, she was like copping a feel. Zelda was like, "Hey, Impa, wake up."
Impa, I can't wait to bomb some Dodongo. I can't wait to bomb your Dodongo, if you know what I mean.
So these animations were created by a separate Russian team that was brought in just for the animations, which is why there's kind of like a disconnect between the illustrations and the animations.
Man,
They
those
couldn't-
Russians did a terrible job. Everything was so creepy.
They couldn't find anyone in America or Japan that was bad enough to make this animation.
They specifically were
They
like,
had
we
to go to
need the
Russia."
Russians. We need Russians to make this awful animation. Well, the thing about this game is that it's kind of like the original Zelda in that it doesn't really give you much to go on to begin with. So where it starts you is actually not where you're actually supposed to start, which is kind of confusing. At least in the original Zelda, you are on the screen to get the sword.
Yeah.
And then from that point, it's exploration in an open world. These are segmented bits, and so there's still that exploration, but it's not fluid.
2 dots. What does 2 dots do?
So 2 dots, if you crouch and press 2 dots, it brings up your menu
Oh, so
and
it
your
does.
items. If you are in front of a door, the 2 dots button lets you go in and out of the door.
Yeah. What does 3 dots do?
Nothing.
What?
So let me show you something real quick here, okay?
Don't die.
I won't die. Oh,
There
never
are
mind,
no
I died.
3 dots. There's 1, 2, and 4.
Oh yeah. Huh,
Magnavox!
Actually, it's dot plus dot dot. So it's
Oh.
like 1 plus 2, I guess, is this button.
So it is 3, sort of.
Oh, and by the way, pressing up is jump. So it's kind of weird because like you can kind of jump forward by pressing up and over, but you'd think they would just map something to 3. But the problem is that not all CDI controllers were standardized. Some of them were like remote controls that didn't have as like the same button layout. So I think that's why they chose only to use 1 dot 2 dot.
Red dot, blue dot.
Oh, cool.
So for example, let's say you want to. Damn it!
Come on, Tony.
Okay, so I'm here, right? Now, No!
Alright, here. I'll figure it out by myself.
What I was going to
that?
say is that oftentimes, because the button combination / button to get into the menu and get through doors is very similar, oftentimes you'll try to go to your menu and then you'll end up going through a door. Or oftentimes you'll try to go through a door and you'll end up entering the menu screen. So basically, because the fact that they didn't map anything to button 3, be it jump or the menu option, it's kind of confusing. You can die and you'll return to this level, but if you die a certain number of times, it'll kick you back out to the world map.
I also think there's checkpoints, right?
Yes, so basically going into a building is like a checkpoint.
Hey, you killed him. Good job.
Did you also die though?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you need to go back in there and get the key. Luckily, he'll stay dead and you'll be able to get the key.
Really?
I believe.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of agility. Oh my god.
No. Keep in mind that this system wasn't necessarily specifically supposed to be a game console.
Wait, what?
Or at least it wasn't touted as completely a games machine. It was supposed to be like a CD player, multimedia, interactivity, edutainment games, like watching video concerts on your television through the Philips CDI. So the games are a little bit clunky, and one of the things that we mentioned in our Hotel Mario review is that often when there are games, there's like these strange illustrated backgrounds. You see this, like it looks nice, but you can't always tell like where you're supposed to be jumping.
Yeah.
It's not like defined like a normal video game is.
Yeah, it's like a pencil drawing. What they seemed to do was just paint a picture and then go in afterwards and superimpose invisible platforms on the picture, and sometimes it was reasonable and sometimes it was not.
But monsters know better than bothering me. Here's a shroud that scares the wraps off Gibdo.
Okay.
So it's not very clear, but that particular item that she gives you kills Gibdos, which are like those mummy bad guys. Now you can leave the area.
I haven't even seen a mummy.
I know you haven't. Basically, if you do this game in order, the way you're supposed to be doing it, it gives you all these items to use later that you don't know are supposed to exist yet. It's a weird, like, item collection sort of game. Here's the thing, is that most people going into this game, like, would you know what to do if you didn't have a guide?
No, I would not.
So most people would just go into this game completely blind. And so we actually do know what to do, but it doesn't really make the game fun.
Well, they were trying to be true to the original Legend of Zelda game, where that's exactly how it is.
That's fine when there are legitimate places to explore and tight controls, where the gameplay is fun in and of itself.
Yeah.
But like this gameplay isn't fun by itself.
Yeah.
I basically hear people say like, oh, well, you don't understand. It's like Zelda 2. Well, it is not like Zelda 2. Because Zelda 2 had responsive controls, a somewhat interesting story, and like gameplay where you could, even if you didn't know where to go and what to do, you could tell where you could jump.
That's a good feature.
It's sad to say that that's like a selling point for a game, but when you don't have that, it becomes very frustrating very quickly.
Yes, very quickly. And it's still good in Link to the Past, where they give you a map and like show you.
Yeah.
You're supposed to go to these 3 places. There are other dungeons, but don't go to them. That's not where you're supposed to be.
That's the
Yeah.
worst thing I've ever seen in my life. That is
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah, so to your point,
That's how Russians see. When a Russian looks at you, that's what he sees. That's
Yeah.
why they're so angry all the time.
another thing. Go ahead and stab him again. Listen to what he says.
I'm on your side, but I still have to sell the stuff. Just pick what you want. I'll handle the rubies.
Oh my god.
In Zelda, it's rupees, not rubies.
Yeah.
They didn't even like get
I
the
noticed-
name of the currency right.
Yeah.
And if you look at go ahead and go outside here for a second. The color doesn't match up with what traditionally is supposed to be the quantity of how many rupees it is. So like red, which is normally red is normally 20 in Zelda. Here it's 1. And you have to, I bet you just know, you have to stab the items to get them.
You have to be so perfect.
Yeah, it's grueling moving in this game.
So you have 24, you're going to need a lot more because you need to get lots of stuff in there.
How many do I need?
Well, it's 20 per, like, I think like 5 or so bombs. You're probably going to get at least 2 purchases of bombs, a couple purchases of lantern oil, and a couple of ropes.
Oh my god, what is that?
There are many areas.
Oh god! I thought he was gonna sell me something.
No, that's a different building. You better press continue. Normally in Zelda games, there's like dark areas that you have to like light up with lanterns, but you can still kind of see the layout, like a little bit, but it's like darker, right? Maybe there's some nuances you can't see. In this game, everything is pitch black. Everything. So you need to get lantern oil, and then after this, we need to get the lantern.
They told the Russians to make the characters cute, and that was the best they could do.
They've never heard of that word before. You can't translate cute to Russian. So what do you guys think about the music so far?
It's great. Reminds me of the 80s.
It's definitely not
Synthesizer.
Japanese.
It's not really Zelda music. I don't think it's bad.
Yeah.
It's just not like it feels like it belongs in a different franchise.
Music, it was just kind of like a beat on the synthesizer. Like if you bought an old synthesizer, sometimes you could just put it on, like flip a switch, and it would go.
6 and 6. We have 21 rubies left. I'm gonna get a little bit more here because what happens is you'll be in a cave and your oil will run out and you just can't see. You can't see the platforms, you can't see where you came from, you can't see anything, and it's just a death trap. So generally speaking, you want to get as many supplies as possible because if you don't, it brings the pain. There's generally an exit to the overworld, so your exit is that Triforce up there. It's shocking that with all the like things they got wrong about this game, that they still had the Triforce. Which is hard to mess up, but so are
They made it blue.
rupees.
They made it blue.
Yeah, that's fine,
Messing
I guess.
it up a little.
That's true. The next place we need to go, we're going to get the lamp.
Ugh.
You need to do the duck walk.
You were ducking and you got hit several times.
How did it sell?
I don't think it sold very well.
Good.
Well, it's impossible for it to have sold well because the Philips CDI didn't sell well.
Yeah.
So there were very few people that had this $700 system. $700 in the early mid-90s, mind you. So like that's a grand plus by today's standards, I believe.
It
And
was
not-
also a CD player and
Yeah, so it's like, you know, if your family wanted a CD player and all like this multimedia device, it was, I hesitate to say a good buy, but for the time, it wasn't like, you know,
What, did you have to hook it up to a TV to use it as a CD player?
if you hooked it up through a receiver, it could play out of your speakers via the RCA input. So you didn't have to have a visual.
So, but still, you're buying a CD player with no speakers.
Yes.
So I would not consider that a good deal for $1,000.
Yeah. All right, so now we get to use the lantern. And now I can actually see.
Huh.
So now I get to go back down to this area, this particular house that was locked. Do you guys notice a pattern? We've basically done this in 2 towns so far.
Had to
Like-
go back and forth.
Go into one building, fight some monsters, go into another building, get a key, go back to the building that was unlocked, which I guess when you say it that way sounds like a Zelda dungeon, but when you actually play it, there's no puzzles in this game, so like it's not fun. Like the gameplay isn't fun. It's like the result is the same.
Yeah, it's like go all the way to the left, then go back to the right, then go to the left, then go to the right, then you're done.
Those darn Moblin have eaten everything. I'd give anything for an Arpago's egg.
oh,
man.
never failed to impress.
Never fail to depress.
So the next area we have to go to is where you see that skull.
Yeah.
But I know what you're supposed to do, but I'm just gonna go ahead and let you guys play and see what happens here.
Your turn, TJ.
But this game is basically a big fetch quest.
No, it's more like a series of 100 small fetch.
Yeah, fair enough. But like one could argue, oh well, there's fetch quests in Zelda, but like those are some of the least entertaining portions of Zelda, and it makes up a much smaller percentage of the overall gameplay.
Shank him.
That's not, you
You're
can't.
supposed to stab him with your sword.
Oh, looks like if you use the bomb on him.
Well, you should have told me that.
Normally,
do we
that's
have
supposed
bombs?
to. We do. Normally in a Zelda game, you're supposed to like shoot an arrow at Goma because of the eye. In pretty much all Zelda games is like that. And you're supposed to bomb Dodongos.
In fact, Link says, bomb some Dodongos. But nope.
Nope.
You don't actually bomb Dodongos. Those Russians who made the cartoon actually knew more about Zelda canon than the people who made this game.
What about the gameplay and the controls?
Oh, that's the worst thing ever. I mean,
It's worse than Satan.
It shouldn't be difficult to be facing one direction and then turn around and face the other direction. That was a difficult thing to do in this game. Shit. Should have done this before. What the hell just happened? How do you go to the...
Exactly. You entered the menu screen at a door, so you ended up going through the door instead of entering the menu screen.
Alright.
Oh, you just wasted a bomb because going through a door, an item is the same.
Apparently you can't go down there. I just found that out. Not sure where you are supposed to go.
You're supposed to jump over. You're supposed to jump over the pit.
Like that?
Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to stop you guys right there, okay? Because before we get any further, I was letting you play this game as if we hadn't read a guide, but I had read the guide for this particular part. You actually need to destroy a boulder that's ahead in this level with, guess how many bombs it takes to destroy a boulder?
like 100.
3.
Well, I was going to say 10. You kind of overshot my... Yeah, so it's 10 bombs. Even if you got to it, you wouldn't have been able to do it because you didn't have enough bombs, right? So you need enough bombs to bomb the Gomas. You need to be able to jump over the pit. And you need to be able to expend 10 bombs on this particular rock.
So you need to know going in that you need a minimum of 12 bombs.
There's a fisherman trapped in the fish head. Really?
Playing a Zelda game, normally you either use a bomb or a mega bomb.
Yeah.
You never use more than one bomb to break something open because you use the bomb and you're like, oh, that item doesn't work.
Right.
So this defies Zelda logic. And look at the giant gaps between its ribs. Why couldn't this dude just go and leave? I'm gonna stab him.
That's what he deserves.
Thanks. You saved me. That's the last time I'm going fishing. See you in Sakado.
You can see the outline of his dick when he did that. What did you think about the twist of having Zelda as a playable character? Is that a selling point for this game, or is it just like a unique anomaly?
It's kind of a selling point. The games are all called Zelda, but you hardly ever even see Zelda in a normal Zelda game.
Yeah.
It's just kind of locked away, sometimes unconscious for the entire game.
As with Zelda 2.
That's it.
You have wonderful eyes.
Yeah.
I got stuck on them for a second. I'm sorry. They glow a little bit. They kind of twinkle. Hang on, let's just appreciate those calf muscles for a second though. Yeah, that's nasty. I like that.
Come on! Jesus! And more bats appear while you're on the chain and you can't defend yourself. What? Jesus Christ.
Use the rope.
This is bullshit.
Power sword! Yeah!
Oh!
Take it!
That's a good thing.
And true to normal Zelda, it only does that when you're at full health.
Hey, it's Impa.
What's up, girl? Why are you locking your front door?
Do you see anything? Yes? Oh my, your father has been captured. What about Link? He's been in a terrible fight. I can't tell what happened.
You know what? You told me my father was gonna come back safe and sound. You lied to me, bitch.
Sweet, the top of this house is made out of waffles.
You saw that, right? I just fell through like 3 platforms.
Nice.
Now I can die in peace.
Dead shall rise, and the living shall be their slaves. She must be stopped.
So now this is when you use the green shroud.
And you also need the lamp for that.
So you need the lamp, you need the rope. Wouldn't it be nice to like, you know...
Just kill yourself? Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah, it would be nice to kill yourself. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to like, this button's the rope, this button's the bombs?
Yes.
Like a Zelda game.
Fits together or works or anything.
You have to use the shroud, you have to immediately use the
spawned
shroud.
after I was up there.
I know,
you need to already know.
Philips did everything they possibly could to guarantee that their Nintendo property games were awful. It's the same story with Hotel Mario and Super Mario's Wacky Worlds that we already reviewed. Like they just were basically like, here's barely any money, and you have this much time. Screw you, good luck. Rope.
Alright.
Nice.
The shroud! No! It's gone!
Excellent.
You know, usually when you defeat a boss and see some kind of cinematic, you feel like rewarded.
Mm-hmm.
But this, it was like it was mocking you. It was like it was mocking the whole game for just, oh, here's a blanket. How do you beat the boss? You just put a blanket on his head,
Make him
and then he
warmer.
dies. It's like whoever made that cartoon was just mocking the game itself for having that.
Yeah. If you had to give this game an overall score for your enjoyment level, what would you give it?
Enjoyment level? 0. No, that's not true. I enjoyed the backgrounds about 0.00001%, and the names of the levels 0.00001%.
So basically, if you were to round, you'd give it a 0 overall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What would you give it?
Maybe if 0 is a rating, maybe a 1, or maybe a 2, since I played games before that seemed like they weren't finished or were just had game-breaking bugs. This didn't really have bugs, it was just very badly made.
I think it's definitely a 0 for a Zelda game.
Yes,
Hands down.
Definitely
0 for a Zelda game. Otherwise, I'd probably give it a 2. Like you said, it's not like debilitatingly broken. It's just a giant fetch quest with pretty looking backgrounds, but it doesn't salvage it. So stay tuned. Next time we're going to be rocking Link, The Faces of Evil.
I predict it'll be much better.
We'll see. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more Hard for Games, subscribe to see new episodes every Tuesday.